All right, welcome to Citizens Forum. Today on Citizens Forum, on a very sad note, we'll be dedicating today's edition to the very sad loss we feel in Nigeria and, of course, across the world. Very popular Nollywood actor, Junior Pope, he's fondly called, passed away. Everyone will meet his maker one day, but then it is the circumstances surrounding this death that makes us think it is important that we have this conversation today. Today on Citizens Forum, our focus will really be on the idea of protection of lives and property, which is one of the top priorities of our government in Nigeria. How really is it going on? Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jude Geoman.
Yes, good morning and welcome to Citizens Forum on Sapiencia's channel.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, my guest today on Citizens Forum is someone who would have been here in the studios, but this is coming at a very short notice, and so he joins us right now via call. Of course, he's a friend of this program, Hon Chugbo Enwezor. He is a politician and, of course, not only a lawmaker, but also a lawyer. Welcome once again to the program.
Thank you, Jude Geoman. Thank you. Good morning, our listeners.
Okay, today we really stand down what should be protocol on the program because really we should begin with the major items that happened this week. But the death of our very own John Pope Odonwodo. This is one death that has really gotten Nigerians talking because personally, I just got to know he's even a Cameroonian. Thought he was a Nigerian, blended well with Nigerians, made us happy, made us laugh, and all of those. So today, sir, I'm going to begin by asking you this. You know, there are so many things that have come up from this death. And the brief information that we do have is that they were going for a movie shoot. They had gone, you know, the River Niger, finished shooting, and then we are coming back. That this actually happened in Anambra State, you know, the Anam axis of the River Niger had an accident, and the rest is history, as we will say. The first question I want to ask you is it has to do with safety precautions. The information we're getting is they weren't using life jackets. And so I want to bring government into this, sir. As somebody who understands how government works, as somebody who has been in the House of Assembly where laws are made, as somebody who has stood on the floor of the House of Assembly debating laws and all of that, can you really take us through what it means and who should be responsible for ensuring that these late ones, and indeed every Nigerian, adheres to this minimum safety requirements?
Thank you, Jude Geoman. Good morning, our listeners, once again. To respond to your question, we have to get to the foundation of the whole issue.
Okay.
First of all, you are aware, we have said this repeatedly on this program, and in other programs, that stating the provisions of the Constitution, Section 14 to be precise,
yes, that
security and welfare of the people is the primary purpose of government. So that is the reason why government exists in the first place, to ensure security and the welfare of the people. Then, if you extend it further, you're talking about what is the role of government in this entire situation. In Nigerian territory, the entire Nigerian territory, that you see, which includes the landmass in Nigeria, the territorial waters, which means internal territorial waters, then the territorial sea, then you come to the territorial sea, The contiguous zone, territorial sea, is 12 nautical miles from the baseline of the coastal state, 12 nautical miles from the Nigerian water.
Yeah.
Territorial sea, that's called the international law, which is 12 nautical miles. Then you have the contiguous zone, 12 nautical miles again from the end of the territorial sea. Then the exclusive economic zone, 200 nautical miles, the continental shelf, 200 nautical miles, the international waters.
Yep.
So Nigerian territory includes the internal waters of Nigeria, which means internal waters of Nigeria, the waters that flow within Nigeria, which is under the exclusive management and supervision of the NIWA, Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority.
Okay.
Which is under the exclusive legislative list. That is the responsibility of the federal government. In the way you have NCAA that regulates air travels within Nigeria. Once you board a plane, before that plane takes off, there are safety measures that passengers must be made aware of.
All right.
That plane will never take off until those safety measures are railed out to the understanding of passengers.
Okay.
Some of which include the issue, they will tell you have a life jacket which is under your seat, tell you if the cabin pressure becomes low, that the cabin will fall up from the and how to use the tie it before you begin to help others, tell you in the case of landing on water, where you can get under your seat, where you can get your life jacket, and how to evacuate the flight in the event. And even those people that sit close to the exit, they must ask you, are you willing to perform this function in the case of any emergency? You must indicate, otherwise they will sit in another place and put people who will be willing to do. So these are safety measures. Yeah. With the NCCAA, and they must conduct before a flight takes. And it's also definitely replicated if you are on an international flight all over the world. The same procedure are replicated. You understand?
Yes.
That the issue is in terms of governance of our internal waters. Internal waters means waters flows within Nigeria, which is the responsibility of the NIWA. Do you have such measures? And what is the responsibility of if you look at the NIWA and section 2 thereof, the responsibility is to make regulations for safe navigation within our internal waters. So what are the regulations that have been made and how are they enforced? First of all, I think those measures taken to ensure safety while in the flight should be the measures, some of the measures that will be taken when anybody and it's the duty of NIWA to license boat drivers, both those who drive boats. How do they issue their licenses? How do they ensure that they understand the schedule applies? They are in good psychological condition. Yeah. If you want to be ferried in a boat within the internal waters, of course, life jacket should be a must. Like I've earlier mentioned, if you're entering a flight to anywhere all over the world, even internal domestic flights, they must tell you these things. There must be life jacket, but you will never put it on except in the unfortunate incident of a plane landing on water. Yes. Then they will tell you how to make use of a life jacket and other facilities, how to evacuate the flight to safety. Now, but I think I'll be right if I say that some or most of these regulations and measures are clearly non-existent with respect to our inland water travel. What we see is they are more interested in issuing licenses for excavation of sand, where they make. But inland, what I see every day, or what I do see regularly, is a situation where those areas are not regulated with respect to ensuring safety. Otherwise, why would people board a boat, whatever they call it, gym boat, without, of course, it there must be a regulation. Every operator of those boats must have life jackets for those making use of that means of transportation. They must have life jackets, and also ensure that those people driving those boats are properly licensed and properly in a position to, in a state of mind to drive. The same way the road safety manages our roads. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
It is the responsibility of NIWA to ensure these things. Manages how to drive this. They must be how to drive these boats. Is the person drunk? Is the person in the because I understand from what I read from the social media that the boat in which our friend, our brother was traveling with and his colleagues, I think ran into a canoe or thereabouts.
Yes.
Why should ordinarily the boat run into a canoe in a vast oasis of water, in a big, so why should that happen? Of course, I infer negligence. You understand?
Yes.
So these are the things, because we don't take many things serious in this part of the country. I have been privileged by the grace of God to be in most other parts of the world where things are done properly. There's no way you will either for leisure purposes or other purposes you will enter a ship or a cruise without having a life jacket on. And these are the things that our internal waters. We're talking about our internal Nigeria is starting sovereignty over our internal waters, over the territorial sea. But this time around, we're talking about internal water. The territorial sea is where probably is the responsibility of the Navy, the continental shelf, EZ, the exclusive economic zone. These are, but the law says the nation states should exercise sovereignty over those zones before you enter international law.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
Then ships in international law are permitted to navigate within our territorial waters. What you call peaceful, innocent navigation in terms. But this is talking about our internal waters. So that is the responsibility. It's the responsibility of the federal government. It is in the exclusive. That's why you have a law creating NIWA, National Inland Waterways Authority. And one of the main functions is to ensure to manage our internal waters for proper and safe navigation. Have they been doing this? The answer to my answer is practically no. If you go to, you can take a walk, you can take, try to see what is happening in all our inland waters. No proper safety measures, are taken or are enforced. Because it's one thing to have them in place, another thing to get them enforced.
Yeah.
So do you have them in place? If you do, are they being enforced? Those people driving those canoe and so on, are they properly licensed to do so? Are the pathways properly dressed to be able for some other boats to navigate? And what are hyacinths? Are they clear? These are the responsibility of NIWA. So if you talk about government responsibility, this is falls squarely within the powers of the federal government. And and that federal government parastatal responsible is National Inland Waterways Authority. What I see them do is granting licensing for people to excavate sand from. If you're going to Obaru, it's all those things going to around Fege, the local jar, all those places. That's all they do. But with respect to ensuring safety in our inland waterways, I think they have been most derelict in that area. They've been most derelict. I've not seen any serious measure put in place. The same way you see road safety men on our roads. Okay, even those boats, who can guarantee the seaworthiness? But you have seaworthiness now. The same way, otherwise, if a boat has become rickety, and you put it it's become rickety, not properly serviced, and you don't care about it, you have not taken some measures to ensure that these things are working, and you put it in the sea to function and to carry people, the tendency is that they're doing that at great risk. And the danger is that when people fall into those who are scientists, when a human being falls into water, the tendency is for him to sink. If it doesn't sink within few, it eventually will sink if there is no measure to keep him afloat till a rescue team comes to pick him up. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So in that kind of situation, why must any vessel, any boat, any engine, whatever they call it, be allowed to access our inland waterways without these facilities, without these checks, without checking as to seaworthiness of the vessel, of the boat, or whatever you call it, without checking as to the capacity of the driver, well, I don't know what they call them, the sailor, if you like, or the driver, the guest, whatever, to navigate properly, to understand the nuances of inland water navigation, and his mental capacity to know that, because what you see that most of them, something will happen, they'll be able to swim to save most of them because probably they are, but that is not the issue. What about the life of other Nigerians or other citizens occupying that vessel?
Yeah. So
what are the sanctions if you are trying to enforce a regulation?
Okay.
And that some people are recalcitrant, some people are not, in fact, obeying, then there are sanctions. So that should be, and that's what we call marine police. It's literally police to police every area of Nigeria, including the water. You understand?
Yes.
That people can commit crime within the internal waters of Nigeria, and they should be arrested and tried. So are we doing this? Have we ever seen any marine police people in their boat? I've not seen any for quite in such a long time. But we used to see them trained in that area. Those who even navigate in case of any eventuality of disaster, there should be those who should be able to come to rescue. The same way you have NIWA, National Emergency Agency. They also have people who also be able to provide such help during emergency within our internal waters.
Yeah.
At times, in some other civilized areas, you can even see helicopters coming to rescue people who have problem in the sea. So these things are lacking. And so the entire responsibility, I guess, is at the doorstep of the federal government as represented by Nigeria National Inland Waterways Authority. What are they to? You need to get in touch with them to see what have they done, what are they doing. They should be able to speak to Nigerians as to why these things should happen. Repeat, some other time in Niger State, similar thing happened. Why these things should happen without proper regulation.
All right, thank you very much. And just to put this information out there, for the sake of this program, I actually did plan to have it a three-way conversations where we split our time into three. Like I said, we are dedicating today's edition to the memory and the life of the late Junior Pope. So the idea was to have three conversations. The first conversation was supposed to be with the Anambra State Police Command. I did reach out and got in touch with SP Tochukwu Ikenga, the PPRO. He accepted, but then we kept that conversation open. And the last time we spoke was after 10 a.m. I don't really know what's going on with that. And also to have the second conversation with Emeka Rollers, the president of AGN. We had a conversation yesterday. He said I should call him back by 7 p.m. I did. And then we were supposed to talk again. But I don't know what's going on with that. So just to say that Citizens Forum actually reached out to these people. Why did we reach out to the Anambra State Police? And that's the next question I'm going to ask you. Why did I reach out to the Anambra State Police? I actually did that because we got information. You read the Vanguard newspaper. I've forgotten what that title was. But it said that the Anambra State, the Marine Police, the Anambra State Marine Police, or the Marine Police of the Anambra State Police Command recovered those bodies. And just like you expressed surprise, I also was surprised because I had not come across that. I had not come across that, and that is one. And also, the Commissioner of Police has Aderemi Adoye urged the commuters there to be safety conscious, to ensure that not only their lives but that of the citizens who ply those routes are safe. But let us talk about this, Honorable, and maybe this might be the last question. The first thing is for everybody to understand that this is not the first time this is happening around all of this axis, right? It happens time and time again. We hear about a boat capsize, but it doesn't make much news because it's not something trendy. Sometimes these are market women with their yams. Sometimes these are people who live in these communities and they are not celebrities. Sometimes it is people who are going home. It happens time and time again. It happens. We get to hear this information, but everybody waves it away. The whole country is talking about this because the late Junior Pope was popular and known to many Nigerian homes. That is the first thing we need to bear in mind. The second thing I want us to talk about right now is, now you've talked about the federal agency responsible for this, and after this program, I'm going to make efforts to see how we can reach them and have them subsequently on this program. But is there a role, and this might be me thinking from my layman idea, is there a role for instance, the Ministry of Transportation in states, and in this case, around those waters, as it has to do with Anambra State and Delta State? Is there a role for the Minister of Transportation, for the Commissioner of Transportation in all of this? Is there a role for the police in all of this? Is there a role for the government in these states, understanding that it is the lives, because security of life and property is both at the federal level and also at the state level? Yes, we have a federal agency, but the governors also have a responsibility, seeing the number of their citizens and knowing the number of their citizens who ply these waterways, to sort of like come and sanitize the area, because like you talked about, how could this happen? Also in the Vanguard, there was a report from a survivor saying there was somebody who was performing some kind of libation and he was ringing his bell, and he was actually the one who blocked the view of the driver. All of this kind of madness, you keep talking about Sena climbs, and all of this kind of madness that it is impossible to believe will still happen to us in 2024. So let us look at the state level. Do you think they ought to wake up and play more role than they are playing right now to safeguard the lives of citizens?
Jude Geoman, you see, honestly, I have my difficulty is that we operate. I would have loved to easily find fault with this state government in this matter.
Okay.
But I cannot honestly do so. In honesty, of course, if they have defaulted in their responsibility, I will easily and comfortably do so. But to be sincere with you, we run just like a flight takes off and something happens. And you're saying, is there a role for the government? I hope if something happens and there's some mishap.
Okay.
It's clearly the responsibility of the federal government. You know what I mean? A governor cannot encroach on the powers of the federal. You have, and inland waterways navigation is in the exclusive list, except we amend to put it in the concurrent list. So we are used to talking about government. Government have their responsibilities shared. And I've told you, if the state government cannot wake up one day and go to River Niger Bank and begin to erect anything, even though the law says, but there is a law that wouldn't permit them to do that, because that is responsibility. The NIWA will resist them, will not allow them. What roles are they supposed to play? I cannot. I'm not. As I sit, as I talk to you, I conceivably, I'm not able to lay my hands on it. That's like I said, teaching people how to be good citizens. Okay. This falls squarely.
On the doorstep. Yeah.
Within the purview of the rise of the NIWA. The award licenses, that duty to award licenses, issue licenses, ensure safety within our territorial waters. By that I mean internal territorial waters, not the continentals, not the territorial sea, the continental shelf, the contiguous zone. You know, you understand what I mean?
Yes.
So now, so we must learn. I think Nigerians learn to go after people who has the responsibility, and they are derelict in undertaking such responsibility. So I don't know how else. I said the police, of course, is meant to maintain internal order. Okay, why would a boat be flying? Somebody will be pouring libation and blocking the view. That is rascality. Just like somebody is driving, a guy is driving on the road, and somebody inside the car will be either deciding the driver, making noise or standing or shouting. No, say, look, sit down, don't do this. So it shows that area, the regulation is so poor. If you have the right regulation, if you sit down and get everybody, sit down quietly. You don't need to do any of those abracadabra.
Yeah.
You're not permitted to do so. No law permits you to do so. And who is that to enforce such? So coming to the sort of blocking the view of the driver of the boat. I mean, if you are blocking the view of somebody who have them, you are predisposing yourself to accident. Isn't it?
Yeah, true.
So why would that happen? Because there is no people do whatever they like. People do whatever they like. Because this clearly is supposed to be, is more or less like a learned society. The people that need to do this thing, they're not doing it enough. So I say, if assuming that somebody from NIWA is on this program, they will be able to marshal out somebody listening to him. You understand?
Yeah.
It will be a more better. It will be an intellectually driven exercise.
Yeah.
But since they're not here, some of these things, lay it bare. So why would we begin? The ministry is a commissioner for transport. Commissioner for transport. What is his work? Commissioner for transport in Anambra State. What is? He cannot have a ministry. He cannot dive into an area where the state house cannot make laws. State house cannot make laws with respect to the land waterways. Hello.
Yeah.
The state house of assembly cannot make laws with respect to regulating our land waterways. So if they cannot make laws, the commissioner or the governor cannot have right to act in such areas. That is the constitution as I'm talking to you. So what is it? Either as a commissioner for transport, maybe his duty is to look after, I don't know what they do, commissioner for transport. I don't know exactly. Maybe those give packs to people, take money from packs. Maybe I think that's what they do.
Well, if you don't know what they do, then you pity me.
This is part of what they do. I think this is part of what I know they do. You know, giving packs for people, packs to manage, collecting money from those packs. And I mean, this is part of what I know. Otherwise, I don't know. Apart from this, I don't know what they do. But I know it is not their responsibility to regulate the internal waterways.
Yeah.
I know for sure. You understand?
Yeah,
so,
it's really nice that you clarify that, because definitely the information coming out that they died on the Anam axis of the River Niger is definitely going to breed some questions by some of us who don't understand all of these things to say, well, couldn't the government have done better? And when we say government, we mean the state government. Wouldn't the state government have done better?
Axis of the water.
Yeah,
is not part of Nigeria.
But then you've explained it very clearly, explicitly, that this is on the exclusive list, and we know how these agencies work. When it comes to where they can make money, everybody knows that they are not going to allow anybody. It's very, very clear. Now, the next question I'm going to ask you, and this is the final question, because you've really explained who should be held accountable, because that is what the whole essence of this is. So let's talk about the average Nigerian citizen, safety consciousness. yes, now that we know, we've talked enough about the agencies and how they are failing and all of that. But let's talk about, safety consciousness. Let's talk about us. I mean, citizens also have the right to boycott whatever brand or whatever service they feel is not to their best of interest, right? We have the right to say, okay, wait a minute. If this and this is not provided, we are not going to use your services. We have the also duty, like you talked about, enlightenment and all of that. So what would you want to see in Nigeria as a lesson we've learned? How would you want to see Nigerians apply this lesson to how we live generally?
I think, of course, it takes two to tango. If you're talking about, first of all, we were first dealing with, dealt with the issue of which government parts to regulate, and what have they really tried to regulate?
Yeah.
Have they really tried to look into this, do what they're supposed to do? The other aspect of it is the citizen is himself.
Yeah.
People don't have pipe and water, but they make provision for water for themselves. The electricity, something is failing. There's no international. People now resort to installing what is it now? Solar to give them light, isn't it?
Yes.
So you have a duty, first of all, to preserve yourself. You have a responsibility. When you preserve yourself, you preserve everybody, or you preserve the nation, you preserve the state. Everybody, why would anybody? I can't imagine myself entering I will not do that. I mean, I can't. It's inconceivable in my mind. You understand? And that is how people should understand about the safety. Because once something happens, the tendency is that, the mishap is going to be very fatal.
Yeah.
Except miracles happen. So how much we depend on? There are things that we need to do. If you put on your life jacket and the boat or the vessel is okay and the driver is sober and nobody does abracadabra while the boat is moving, nobody does any nonsense while the boat is moving. You can do those things, but not to obstruct, not to predispose the boat to accident.
Yes.
Now endangering your life and the life of other occupants. So when all these things happen, when you put on your life jacket, all this, then every other thing that happens, they call it the act of God, face major. But when you fail to do what you need to do, that is correct. That is negligence. That is rascality. That is insensitivity. You understand?
Yes.
So why would anybody, most of people who are supposedly enlightened, enter a vessel, a boat within the waters of Nigeria without putting on life jacket? Are you saying that? That is very close to attempting suicide. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Just like once you enter, when you board a flight, within or without going to overseas, if you don't put on your seat belt, the flight will not take off. They must look to see, and if you don't comply, they must take you out of that flight. Too. You don't have any. It's not optional. They must ensure they will still come back and look. Please, can you put on a seat belt? Can you, if you say, you know what I mean? They will ensure that all those regulations nobody runs foul of it before the flight will take off.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. They will ensure. And these are part of the safety regulations in our airspace. You should have a similar regulation within our internal waters.
All right.
So, on the part of citizens,
yes,
let us understand that this one little mistake could be fatal. Something you go and say, okay, next time. If you make that mistake and something happens, you're likely to lose your life. And if a life is lost, there's nothing anyone can do to restore it.
Yeah.
So that is why you must take precautions as long as it is within our powers to do so. So whatever happens beyond these precautionary measures, then it is something that outside human control.
All right.
You understand?
Yes.
So on our part, I am advising our people and advising. I hope you have the opportunity of bringing a NIWA person on this program so that we can throw more light. There are certain things I wouldn't want to say because I wouldn't want to be seen to be condemned totally without hearing from them.
All right. It's a promise I made. Immediately after this program, I'm going to get in touch with NIWA and we'll see. Whatever happens, I'm going to brief the audience on the efforts to do that because it's just important we have this conversation. I want to thank you very much, Honorable Chugbo Enwezor, for especially this enlightenment, because trust me, you've really enlightened us on who is supposed to play what role and how this is supposed to be, and especially to also talk about how it functions, not just on the waterways, but for instance, when people want to fly, so we need to see all of that happen. And also clarifying the fact that this is something exclusively on the list of the federal government, and this
on
has
the
nothing to
exclusive
do
list
on the
of
exclusive
federal
list.
government. That's why I have NIWA
Yes.
and also.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
All right. God bless you. Okay, it's been Honorable Chugbo Enwezor, of course, a friend of the program. He been, of course, when it comes to having talks like this, he has always made himself available to enlighten us on how these things run. Honorable Chugbo Enwezor, of course, lawyer, politician, and, of course, seasoned lawmaker. We throw open the phone lines after this very short break.